So yeah, I think Emmanuel explained a little bit about blockchain, but I'm sure you want to know exactly what is blockchain. So blockchain is a technology that has the capability of recording information in a way that makes it very difficult or almost impossible to hack or cheat a system. So a blockchain is essentially a digital ledger of transactions. And one of the key things is that it's transparent. It's also public, and it's shared across an entire network of computer systems. I can go into more detail, but I think that's a big overview summary of it. I'm not going to share any slides. So do you want me to go into more details, or?
Yeah, you can go a bit more before we get into the discussions. Before we get into the discussions, you could highlight on a few more.
Yeah, so as I said, yeah, it's a way of it's a distributed database that maintains a continuously growing list of orders or records, and that's what we call blocks. So these blocks are usually linked using cryptography. So each block contains a cryptographic hash of the previous block, which is like a timestamp, and that will have the transaction data, which is why it's quite hard to hack, because it's encrypted. In terms of how it works, there's usually a wallet involved, and that broadcasts a message to the network. And then there's also miners that are involved in the process. They usually solve quite a complex problem in order to confirm that transaction has been added to the block. And then, yeah, there's a consensus that follows, which eventually it confirms that every node in that network will show that transaction, and then that data is stored. And yeah, it's open. It's a 24-hour technology, so unlike traditional technologies, and it's continuously maintained. So that record is always it's almost proof of, it's a source of truth. Basically, it's the main source of truth that everybody agrees to. So that's kind of an introduction to blockchain.
Okay, thank you, Angela. Emmanuel, I'm going to bring you back. All three of us are going to be here, then we'll now get into some discussion. I'll start with you, Emmanuel. So there's been a lot of talk about transformation in relation to the metaverse. How is the metaverse unfolding and transforming enterprises?
Yeah, I think I touched briefly on these previously. The way I see it is if anything else, it's a place again for people to go and interact. It's a place where people will go for having enriching social experiences. And as if you think of in real life square, a metaverse square could be a place where your business should be present, and if where it makes sense, it's aligned with the need of your specific community or group of users. It makes a sense for a brand to be there. What I see is the interesting stuff that are happening. Again, a lot is on the retail space, and you see a lot of the big brands coming into the various digital worlds. Building specific experiences, and they might use some gamification, or they might use some collectibles, but it's all about creating something which allows them to engage with their audience. At this stage, is very much around branding and positioning yourself in the space. So this is the most obvious one, and then as time goes, the use of it for connecting people also within the businesses, I think that's the next thing. So the branding is happening as we speak. The connecting, is starting to happen. Accenture, I think they bought 70,000 visors from Meta, and they're giving them to all their new employees. It's a way for them to do onboarding. It's a way for them to collaborate across different regions. So, you know, that's the most, you know, the next obvious step. And then beyond that is, you know, there's a lot that's still to be uncovered. We don't know exactly what form or shape it will take. But again, the key points to stress is all about the people living there and, you know, inhabiting those spaces, trying to have social enriching experiences. So, and that's, you know, if you're a brand and you resonate with that, you know, or you can play a role with that, that's something you should take into account and, you know, play a role there as well.
So, you know, the metaverse it's already popular in the gaming sector, mainly because of the convergence of augmented reality and virtual reality that has been dominant in the gaming industry. So I'm thinking, what brands, organizations have already entered the metaverse, and how are they faring? How are they playing along with all these technologies?
Yeah, again, I can give you some examples. The most recent one I can think of is Ralph Lauren. I think it was news from yesterday. They, sorry, Burberry from yesterday. Yes, you know, the Fortnite, sorry, Minecraft, the game, which is super popular amongst, you know, up to the teenagers. Yeah, they just launched a new experience where you can go into their world. You can download special skins, and there are some mini games you can play and gain some points. So that's a way for, you know, Burberry to position themselves with the young population and, you know, strengthen their brand with those people. There's been similar examples from other brands. The fashion companies have been super active in the space. Also, Starbucks, they are super famous because they're one of the best-in-class reward programs. You know, you get points and you get free coffee, that kind of stuff. But they are best in class. They've developed a super cool program. Historically, they have a super cool one. Now they moved that into let's call it Metaverse. So there are online experiences in some of these worlds, but also they have a loyalty program which is using NFTs which have a real utility. So it's a way to, you know, you can have a badge on your, you know, virtual avatar, you know, a Starbucks badge, but also the badge carries some real life utility, right? That could be, you know, discount and yeah, there's plenty of these examples. Again, it goes back to the point of building experiences and stuff which resonates with people and stuff people want to link with for brand awareness. That's, you know, the most obvious one and what's happening mainly at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Angela, let me come to you. So about blockchain, there's this thing about the governance of blockchain. Who makes the rules in blockchain financing? Is it the regulators, or just anyone can make the rules, or some members of the blockchain community?
Good question. Blockchain financing, we can talk about DeFi, so decentralized finance, which is one overarching principle. So blockchain, DeFi basically allows you to lend money. And for example, the rules for that are very clear. You need to make sure that if you're putting up money is over collateral, you're not going to go bankrupt, because in blockchain there is no such thing as going bankrupt, or because it's very certified and there's no one to actually make the rules. It's actually the technology that makes the rules, since it's decentralized. So you need to make sure that you have the collateral. And unlike traditional systems where companies will go bankrupt, or, you know, you'll find yourself in negative equity, blockchain technology, because of the nature of the technology, it's there's specific rules that mean that the protocols go into default. So there are white papers for cryptocurrencies that go into detail about what each network or each blockchain specifically does. So that will also have specific use cases as well, that network should be best used. So there isn't really someone that's like a blockchain police, but you understand that they're fundamental principles, white papers, protocols that. And also, if you're going into the DeFi space, as I said, you have to be over collateralized. So they will never let you. There'll never be a bailout situation like we have in traditional banks, where you may, as I said, go bankrupt. So.